I'm going to talk about something that may be a very unpopular opinion, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And regardless of how you may view it or how you may feel about it, again, it's just my opinion. But before we go ahead and get into that, stay tuned for all the videos that's going to come up. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to talk about parenting bad financial decisions. Again, unpopular opinion. This is just my opinion. This is just how I feel about it. This is kind of how me and my son kind of made our way in life, avoiding some of these, these very popular, unpopular opinions, I guess. So one of the things that I'm going to say is that when it comes to financial decisions, and I understand giving your kid or your child the life that you never had, and that's the same thing that I want to do for my son. I want to make sure that he had his own bedroom. Always want to make sure he had his own bedroom, because I had my own bedroom I always had my own bedroom. Honestly, I've always had my own bedroom. So I want to make sure he had his own bedroom. I had everything that I ever wanted and desired. So I wanted to make sure that he had everything he wanted and desired. The only thing that I will not do is I won't go broke trying to live up to a standard that I can barely afford. That's not what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to make sure that I provide all of the necessities that my son needs. But I'm not going to provide the wants that he needs. So, I'll make sure we have a roof over our head. I'll make sure that we have electricity. I'll make sure that there's food in the refrigerator. I'll make sure that he comes home to a clean house. He's able to wash his clothes. What I won't do is pay for stuff that I know that it's more of a want than a need. So this is how I'm going to put that out there. Over the years of having custody of my son, I have heard people skip bills to pay for extravagant birthdays, extravagant Christmas, and the like of whatever else holiday that they celebrate throughout the year. Whether they put on a credit card, miss a bill, whatever. Just so their kid can have this luxury life or a life that their parents never had. I don't agree with that. I particularly don't agree with that. The reason why I don't agree with it is because I don't believe in putting yourself in a financial bind in order to provide a superficial lifestyle that you honestly can't keep up with. And I know some people may be saying like, well, M&G, that's stupid. Like, I should be able to go ahead and give my kid a lifestyle that I've never had. You absolutely right. You can. But I just want to ask you, is it in your budget to do that? I'm just being honest. Is it in your budget? I have skipped many Christmases because we didn't have the money. We don't actually celebrate Christmas. And it's not a religious thing, because a lot of people ask me, is it a religious thing? It's not a religious thing. It's just that Christmas is what you make it. So we call it the end of the year extravaganza. That's what we call it. And I asked my son, hey, is it something that you want for the end of the year extravaganza? He like, well, let me get this or let me get that. And I make it happen. Whether I make it happen before Christmas or I make it happen after Christmas, I make it happen. I just don't, there's a lot of people that go into the Christmas spirit. I'm just not that individual. Like, I don't hold nobody else up, but I'm just not that person to be jolly and all this Christmas stuff. Like, I can care less about that. I just want peace on Christmas. That's all I want. And a lot of people may not agree with this, but honestly, the gifts don't make Christmas. It's the time that you spend with your family. That's what makes Christmas. And for everybody that celebrate all the other holidays like Kwanzaa and everything, that they want to kind of get back to their roots and everything, that's great. I won't celebrate it. I just don't feel like it pertains to me in any kind of way. I just like to sit back, chill. Hey, do you want a gift? Here's a gift. For the people that I have celebrated that wanted to celebrate Christmas, I celebrated with them. Like, I've dated women that want to celebrate Christmas. Okay, we can celebrate it. I'm not gonna rain on your parade because I don't celebrate. You want to exchange gifts? That's fine with me. It falls in line with the end of the year extravaganza. It falls in line with that. I just don't care to spend all my money to skip electricity bill, to skip a credit card bill, to skip my mortgage or my rent payment, just so I can get this expensive system or whatever the case is, so my kid can be happy. No, I need to tell them the real truth about the financial responsibilities that we have in this household. No, we have this bill is due. This bill is due. Insurance is due. Like, I think we get so caught up in the idea of what we can provide for our kids, and we kind of forget that we need to teach them and tell them about financial literacy. We need to teach them and tell them about financial wealth. That's what we need to like really sit down and have conversations about. Like, instead of going ahead and getting them Barbie, G.I. Joe and all that stuff like that, here's a stock for the company that owns this stuff. So when people go and buy it and the stock increases, you make money off of that. This is how money is working for you. Okay, instead of going and buy them Nikes, buy them a little pair of Nikes, but also buy them a stock for the Nikes and get them into investing early and teach them that financial literacy. We ain't even teaching that. We teaching them how to style and profile and make other people rich and not even making money for themselves. Like, that's not fair. So we're going to consistently be consumers and not build wealth. And I know people hear this all the time, and I know they're getting tired of hearing it get beat down to the head over and over and over again, because they getting tired of, well, I don't have the money for wealth building. So you do have the money for wealth building. You got it. If you sit down and you construct a budget, you got money for wealth building. I started my son a mutual fund, a managed investment portfolio. All he got to do is just drop money in there. That's all he got to do. I told him about the stock market, and I want to give him a managed portfolio so he can just put money in there and he don't have to really think about it. Because he want to play video games, he want to play with his friends. Okay, but here's something simple. Put money in there and then watch it grow. It's that simple. I mean, he put money in his little portfolio. It didn't grew like $300 since he had it, put money in there. Now, he ain't got a job, so he don't put a lot of money in there. But then when he do get a job, he can still funnel money into that investment account. So we want to really get into, that wealth building, mindset. And let's talk about the benefit of that. So, well, first of all, let's go back to not going broke for all these holidays. Okay. So you're going broke for all these holidays. Well, you may not even be going broke or close to broke, or you may skip a bill or whatever like that. If it's within your financial means to do it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But I can tell you right now, it ain't about to be no Easter suits, because we ain't doing that. It ain't about to be no Thanksgiving outfits. We ain't, or even it's only me and him, so we don't even do like a big Thanksgiving. Honestly, we don't really do Thanksgiving at all. We really just go to my mama's house and eat over there, because we get invited. So we really just do that. So far as like July 4th and 5th, we don't even really do the fireworks. So like, because it's just really me and my son. So a lot of the things that other people like kind of indulge in, we can kind of stray away from. Like, I kind of like, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of, and not trying to put any of the holidays down or anything, because we used to do them when he was younger. He's a little older now, so it doesn't really matter as much. But even when he was younger, we would do the fireworks and everything. We do a few other things, but we wouldn't do it on a large scale. We would keep it within, within our budget restraints. We would do that. But I always try to maintain a level of financial consciousness when it came to spending money. So I wanted to always be aware of what I was spending, how I was spending it. I never wanted to really be in a negative. I didn't really want to use my credit cards unless I had to. So always wanted to make sure that we was in the best financial situation where we not on the border of being homeless and We got food in the refrigerator. Even if I don't have food, he has food. So it's just making those decisions and kind of balancing it out. But I wouldn't skip a bill so he can have a Christmas. Like, we just wasn't doing it. We just treated it as a regular day. I didn't make no big deal out of it. I would send him to his mom's house, or I would send him to my mom's house, because they celebrate Christmas and they do the whole big Christmas thing. So he'll go over there and he'll have the benefit of having a Christmas. But I don't celebrate it. Like, I just don't understand or see the point of spending a whole bunch of money at the end of the year on one day for a whole bunch of gifts that I could have spent throughout the whole year. I mean, if I kept buying them toys and clothes and all that throughout the whole year, then I wait for Christmas to spend another the same $300, $400, $500 that I spent throughout the whole year. I might have spent $500 all at one time for a whole bunch of clothes and toys and all that stuff like that. And some people may be like, well, it's all about the holiday spirit and everything like that. It is, but it's also a financial catastrophe. Like, Black Friday is probably one of the biggest days that make the most money, right behind like Cyber Monday. People go out and spend all their money then I just buy video games on them days, so I'm only spending like $60, $70, and more than likely I'm getting the game on sale. So, and if I get 2 of them, I'm really in luck. Okay, but if I only get 1, then I only spend like $40, so I'm comfortable with that. But if we put it in perspective, let's just say Black Friday is a $100 billion day or whatever, and your money contributed to that. Just imagine if you had invested in the brands, in the companies that make the brand that you're buying, and during that time the stock climbed like 5-10%, and you had 100 shares. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't understand what that means, but let me see if I can break it down for you. So you had 100 shares at, let's keep it simple. Especially for me, because mental math is not my strong suit. So if you had 10 shares at $5 a piece, okay, so that's 5 times 10, that's 50. So you had 10 shares, each of them is worth $5. The value of all 10 shares is $50. Okay. Black Friday comes around and say of this, so let me start over. So when you go into the stock market, you can buy a share of the company. Okay. So say it's Sony. I just happen to like Sony. So say it's Sony. Sony's share price is $5. Then you buy 10 shares at $5. The value of all those shares is $50. Okay. If those shares go up $5, okay, so now they're worth $10 a share, then the value of all 10 shares is $100. Okay. So comment and let me know that you following me. All right. Now, the downside to that is if the 10 shares you have go down $5, then it goes from $100 to $50. Okay. And that's pretty much how the stock market works. You're buying a share of the company. Okay. And you're investing in that company's future. So you're basically saying, I'm giving you money for you to do whatever you want to do with it to be more profitable in the future. I'm paying for your future. So when you're buying stock, you can play the long game or you can play the short game. But regardless of you giving that money up, you're giving that money up to invest in their future in hopes that the stock goes up so you can make money off of it. This is how you make money work for you. One of the things that I want to tell new parents that kids are not born yet or they're about to be born, is that one thing that if I had another child right now that was about to be born, I'm setting them up with a joint custodial account in the stock market, and we're going to get them like a S&P 500 or whatever brands that we purchase from the baby shower and all that stuff like that. We're investing in that. Okay. We're putting money in that. And we're going to keep on investing in that 1 or 5 stocks. I wouldn't say do no more than like 5 stocks. Okay. And just keep reinvesting, whether you're investing fractionally or you're investing like whole shares, depending on how much it costs per share. Some shares can cost $10,000. And then you got, well, I haven't seen no shares on $10,000, but I've seen some that's about like $3,000-$4,000 per share. Okay, like the S&P 500, last time I checked, don't quote me on this, but when last time I checked, which was a while ago, it's like $3,500 a share, and I was like, that's tough. But then you have other stocks that are a little bit less than that, like $200 a share, $250 a share, but it fluctuates, so it goes up and down. So if you just consistently or regularly buying shares, then it would make more sense to kind of just buy shares, regardless of what the stock market price is. So we should really get into the idea of wealth building, because the benefit at the end of the day is if you do this for 18 years of their life, you can probably turn a $10,000 investment to maybe like $100,000, $50,000. And that's enough to kind of get them started with life. Whether they decide to buy a house, start a business, do a property. And I'm not always going to say it's easy, and it's going to require some sacrifice. But you are already sacrificing right now buying toys for Christmas. Whether you don't pay a bill, whether you miss the mortgage, miss rent, whatever you're doing, you're already taking a sacrifice. Why not make that sacrifice beneficial for the future? And I know that I talk to some people and they say, well, I don't really understand the stock market. But you know how to Google, you know how to search somebody's name, find out what their phone number and address is, but you don't know about the stock market. You know how to look at a music video on YouTube, but you don't know about the stock market. You know how to go ahead and read those tabloids and whatever else they putting on Instagram and everything, but you don't know nothing about the stock market. It takes nothing to pick up a book and read. It takes nothing to look up something on YouTube and figure out what the stock market doing. It takes nothing to learn. They have free classes out here. They have investment groups out here that talk about this stuff, but we're too busy trying to buy up every Gucci and everything on the corner store, but nobody's trying to take their time to invest and get themselves out of the struggle. There are people, I read an article about a person that started investing and turned $250 to like $10,000. And they started out with $250. They turned it into $10,000. They went in debt to about like $40,000, $50,000, but then turned it into a $1 million corporation. Well, not $1 million corporation, but they turned their investments to $1 million. Multi-million dollars. So it is a possibility where if you get into investing, if you started today, you're going to learn, you're going to understand, you're going to know what's happening within the investment. Within the investment game, you're going to meet other people. You're going to learn from them. You're going to grow with them. But we got to be able to build that wealth. We got to get away from being a consumer and turn on that investment light. Whether you invest in real estate, whether you invest in exotic coins or the like, we got to get into the mindset of wealth building and building valuation and like intangible stuff. A lot of people believe that a house is a wealth builder, but it all depends on what your financial goals are, because what's a liability for somebody else is wealth for another. So we just need to put those things into perspective. For me, even though I do have a house, I realize now that a house is more of a liability. I'd rather be in an apartment. And the reason why I would rather be in an apartment, because yes, my rent will go up, but I have less expenses in an apartment than I do in a house. And you may say that, well, you have more rules too. You do have more rules, but a house has more responsibility. Do you have $10,000 to pay for getting your roof fixed? Do you have $8,000-9,000 to get your furnace and your hot water tank replaced? Do you have another $3,000 to get your AC replaced if you have one? Okay, it's $15,000 to $2,000 for a remote garage door if you have one or you don't have one. If your garage need repair and they have to either rebuild it, you know how much it costs to rebuild another garage? $30,000 to build a garage. $30,000. Okay, to even fix the garage up. And like my garage need gutters and all that stuff like that. So to put the gutters on there and fix the garage up, that's another $6,000. Okay, and then that doesn't account for doing a tuck around the house. So I had to look up how to do a tuck, because to pay somebody to come out and do a tuck, that's $3,000. I gotta replace a step and in the front of my house. That step $60. And then I gotta bust up the first one that's there, and then clean that out, then put the mortar down and then lay it down. So what is a wealth builder for somebody else is a liability to somebody else. I'd rather just live in a condo. Yeah, I probably still have to replace my furnace and hot water tank and all that stuff like that, and whatever else on the inside. But it's still low maintenance. It's still a lower maintenance than having like a full house. A full house just, I would either say you either have a high income or you have a 2-house income in order to be able to like really afford the things that, like, I ain't even got my furniture in my damn front room like that. Like, it's expensive. Like, property tax is crazy. Like I said, and this is just my own experience. So when it comes to talking about wealth building, you know, the house is taken away from the opportunity to wealth build, and that's just my opinion. It's taken away from the opportunity to wealth build. So so when you look at wealth building, it all depends on what your financial future looks like. And I think that we need to start wealth building for the next generation now. So they are set, because the generation that we're in now is the gig economy, or we in the gig economy era. What do you think the next era is going to look like? They got robots walking and everything. So if you're not trying to build wealth right now for your kids, you're already starting them behind the 8 ball. But you know what? I'm not going to hold you too much longer. I'm your host, MNG. You know, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment. You know, tell me what you think about the episode. I don't know. You may feel like I'm just sitting here blowing it out my ass, you know. But however the case is, man, I'll catch you on the next recording. Peace.